Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am Game Master Bloodworth, and as you can see by the graphics, I am going to be taking my very first look at Baptism of Fire. This is a tabletop role-playing game written by the RPGPundit, and it is the core rulebook for adventures in 11th century Poland. So I am going to start off with a really quick disclaimer. This is a review copy that was sent to me. So this is the very first time I've had a publisher or a creator of a game system actually send me a copy of the game to take a look at. And for further clarification, this was Chris Miller, who is the editor, who sent this to me. So the book is published by Mad Scribe Games, which is Chris Miller's operation. He also creates his own tabletop role playing games, which I've covered in the past. Ankara is his, and we'll get back to doing that in the future as well. Covering more of that and actually breaking that system down as well. So, as I said, quick disclaimer: I had a review copy sent to me. I've never done this before, but it is not going to alter my my unscripted and unchained review. At least very, very briefly, taking a quick look at the book here. So I do not have the PDF, and so I am just going to be flipping through the book and showing you what I see as I go through it. And I guarantee you that if I do actually really enjoy it and think that this is something that I would I would potentially run, then I will purchase the PDF version of it. That way I can go into an even deeper dive with you and so forth. So physically, book is really quite large, and I am opening it up and checking to see. So I notice here that the binding is a little bit offset, and that's an issue. All right. I guess you could see here that kind of edge that's coming in. So when you close it out, I get this page, this internal page that is actually popping through it. So that's a thing with the binding. So the binding, when you open it up, it's not fully folding out properly. So first thing, so there you have it. I mean, it's, getting something for free doesn't mean that it's, that it's going to get super rave reviews for without merit. Continuing on. So I can see, let's take a look at the interior. So here you can see the interior of it. And it's very nice. I mean, it's a nice, I like the color palette that it's using here. And it has an introduction. So Poland in the 11th century. And there's something else I want to point out here is the uniqueness of this, right? I mean, there's, I guarantee you that there aren't very many, if any, other role-playing games that are set in 11th century Poland, perhaps with the exception of The Witcher, which I believe is set in that general area, or the Baltic, or something along those lines. So let's move on. So there's the introduction, there's character creation. So this is a full game system, separate probably from Lion and Dragon, which is RPG Pundit's other, game system. I guess it's his core game system, and Lion and Dragon is an exceptional system. I really, really love that. So I'm sure it has many things that copy along from it as well. But this is a self-contained game system plus setting book. So character creation, and it goes through so rolling ability scores, social classes, background skills, prior history, character names, level 0 generation. All right, so that's pretty cool. Combat bonuses, saving throws, alignment, age and appearance, sex, family, starting equipment, skill checks. Character classes are archer, fighter, holy man, holy warrior, skomrazi, it's a Polish word. I'm not going to understand it. Thief, witch hunter, woodsman, and Yotvinigans. Another Polish word I'm not familiar with. Miracles and magic, holy miraculous powers, divine intervention, losing miraculous powers, magic, summoning, dominion, demonic attributes, special magical powers, minor powers, major powers, magical skills, astrology, astrological talismans, banishing, battle magic, cures, enchantment, folk magic, glamour, runes, spirit magic, note on alchemy. Then it goes into economics and equipment, concepts of dowries and taxes and trade and and so forth. Game master procedures. So there's a whole section here on game master procedures. So you can see it's really quite covers a lot, right? So then we have monsters, Piast Poland, which is a campaign timeline, important offices of the Piast crown, elements of the general culture in Poland, the Piasts themselves, the map of Poland, the Polish gazetteer, pagans and pagan magic. Then we have the Appendix 1, trail and road trail and wilderness encounters, tables, encounter descriptions and tables. We have the list of terrain and region types, events in towns and cities. We have pagan magic, shaman, witch classes, social encounters, animal handling, gossip and information gathering, seduction, system, small holding and domain rules, standard domain actions, finally legend and infamy, acts and that generate legend, acts that generate infamy, pagan virtues, benefits of legend and infamy, character sheet. Okay, so looking through it, I just want to share some of the pages and some of the art here, going through. So here we have character generation, rolling for attribute scores. Players always roll 3d6 in order for the 6 attribute scores. These rolls are recorded, as is the ability score modifier, and each result generates. Okay, so it's rolled down in order. So you will roll, I'm assuming the standard rolling. We have social class. So social class appears to play a pretty prominent role. It's immediately after rolling your character attributes. And so social class comes in. You have outcast. You have bond serfs, which are, or bound serfs, which are servi. You have schlappy, which are tenant peasants. You have kimiak, which is landowning peasants. You have grodnik, which are poor city dwellers. You have grodnik rich, which are city dwellers. You have Reisers, which is a warrior knight classes. You have Shlek Kayak, which is noble. and you have Schlachaic landed noble roll d6. 1 to 4 is standard. 5 to 6 is a magnate family. All right. So it appears that social class will play a pretty significant role. Background skills, we have some fairly basic kind of skills. Nothing out of the ordinary. You have an armorer, baker, barber, blacksmith, bowyer, brewer, bricklayer, butcher, candle maker, and so on and so forth. And we get into prior history. So these are like conditions that your character's prior history might just add some context for the character and some potential social points to build on. Scandalous affair, family vendetta, false identity, so on. So there's actually quite a few of those. So it appears to be like 20 of them, and then there's sub events or subtle C. All right, so there's quite a lot actually. So there's a lot of little events that happened in your character's life. So here we have some more here. I'm up to the Polish names part. Now let's take a look. So here we have some more. So far, I mean, it's a big book. There's a lot here. There's I believe the full page count. Let's take a look at that real quick. We'll take a look at the character sheets. So full page count of the book is 371 pages. Here's your character sheets. And, front and back. So the premise of this book is Baptism of Fire is an OSR RPG set in the dawn of the Polish monarchy in the early medieval period. It is a complete rule book and setting. As a setting, it is medieval authentic, meaning that it is set in our own historical. Each Earth. I'm sorry. The text is a little bit hard sometimes to pick out. So that's another, very slight thing. So it's Earth. So historical Earth rather than a fantasy world. But this is a world as the people living in the setting imagined and envisioned it. That is to say, religion, magic, and monsters all exist and function as the paradigm of the early medieval world imagined it. You see, the one thing about that is that, when you're writing the book and you're saying it's more medieval authentic, and you're saying that it's going to have the superstitions and the myths and the and whatnot that the people held and held to be true. When you include the fantastic in the game mechanics, you kind of lose that, that premise of it, right? It's like, the people can believe that someone in their village is a vampire, and then they go out and they go attack, that person, right? They go to capture and destroy that person. And when they encounter that person and they, potentially capture or kill that person isn't actually a vampire. But yet the game mechanics will make that person a vampire. with all of the abilities and everything that you would normally assume would be a vampire. And so there's where I think there's a bit of a disconnect. Um, None of the Fantastics should be in this game system. Now, if you wanted to have that rolled out, you could build on their fears and have them make, morale checks and have them, do all of those things leading up to the actual encounter. But once they engage, especially in combat with the individual that they thought was magical and mystical and and evil or whatnot, um, that superstition and that false belief is going to be um, is going to come to an end once they go into the combat. It's not really a vampire. It's not really a ghost. It's not really a skeleton that has been animated and controlling. They're not really casting magic. Um, so when they talk, when the RPG pundit mentions, this is, medieval authentic, set in the real world, then that should follow through all the way, all the way through the encounter portion of it as well. Just my opinion, it's I think it would be much more authentic to have all of your adversaries are human, because that is what our world is populated with, and other than natural beasts and things like that, and have a system where those superstitions are are shown the light of their falsehood, and again have a system where they there are genuine fears. I accept that. That's and to gamify that genuine fear until the realization is that it wasn't what they really expected it to be. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to going through it and reading it. I I've never seen a game system that focused on 11th century Poland, so that's something that's fairly unique. I mean, again, I forget exactly what The Witcher's background is. I wasn't a big Witcher fan to, when it first came out and everything. I believe it's set in Poland, but I think it's more Baltic than Poland. But we'll see. We'll see. Where that connects up with reality. So I have to look into that, and I'll come back to you. But I'll definitely, continue digging through this and start going through the actual game system. Um, Perhaps this it's just this one particular book is, came off the printing a little bit defective as far as that one central page here that seems to have separated. Um, and then the other things is that the text, in some cases the text is a little bit different, difficult to decipher. Like when I see the word pious here in the book itself, I was able to clearly see pious, but here it looks like it says PJAST, lowercase j, and so I was like, all right, is that another? I first read it as pious, but when looking at it here, I could see where you might confuse that. Just like I came across Earth on the back of here, and it didn't come off to me on the page as Earth. Lastly, I would say the core rule books for the adventuring. Actually, I'll put this screen up over here. I'll switch. You see where it says core rules book for adventuring in 11th century Poland. I would have done that in the same highlighting font as Baptism of Fire, tabletop role-playing game. That would have made that stand out, because that is something that is fairly unique for this role-playing game. And so I would have made that stand out as much as that does. And I believe I said in the comments someplace along the way that this font up here, that doesn't read baptism to me, right off the bat. Font choice could have been a little bit clearer, even with that heading there, because it does not jump off as baptism right from the start. It takes a little bit of, like, what does that say? It looks like it says raft or something like that. It's just not a great font choice. But thanks a lot. I will continue to cover this and start going through the actual rule mechanics of the book and talk about that. And like I said, if I do really enjoy it, I will purchase the PDF, and that way I can continue going into even more in-depth review of the game mechanics itself. But thanks for joining. This was an impromptu one. I was really kind of surprised. This was an unexpected box in the mail, and so thank you. Thanks a lot, Chris, for sending this over to me, and hope you enjoy my continuing coverage of it as well, and and take the few little bits of criticism. The way they're intended to is just little minor little tweaks and everything. And like I said, the physical condition of the book is not necessarily. That's not something that's always in control. So, but thanks a lot, everyone, for popping in. Hope you enjoyed this. Please leave your questions and comments in the comment section, and remember to like, subscribe, and share videos that you enjoy. And you will have a great day. Take care.